Hey guys, it's me. Today I'll be doing a review on Star Wars Visions, the latest series from Disney Plus. Star Wars Visions is Star Wars but anime. The series is a visual spectacle. Every episode is done by a different Japanese animation company, so that's really interesting. And every episode looks and feels different. There are 9 episodes altogether. They're quite short. Each episode is about 13 to 25 minutes. I like this kind of format because I can watch one episode on a lunch break or finish the whole thing on a weekend. Overall, I like it. The story feels like Star Wars but not at the same time. I will be doing a non-spoiler review on each episode, just talking about what each episode is about, what I like about it, and what I think about them. So I hope you guys enjoy the review. Let's get it started. The Duel by Kamikaze Duga. So the duel is about a wanderer that happens to find himself at a small village just looking for a pit stop or a short break. At the same time, a group of bandits arrive, just bringing trouble. Things get really heated, the villagers are faced with aggression, and one way or another, the wanderer is put between the conflict. This episode to me is the most unique. The animation style is done in a classic noir style, reminiscent to Kurosawa's black and white filming style of the past. There are lightsabers in this episode, but the lightsabers are bright red, so the colors really shine. There's a good contrast among the bleak black and white of the story. The combat is good. I think this episode is more on the action side of things. Overall, it's a good start to the season, and I was very curious to see what's next. Tatooine Rhapsody by Studio Colorido. Tatooine Rhapsody is basically about music slash rock band, kind of. I don't know, it's very weird. The band is fairly new, trying to be big, doing small concerts at small time events. They find themselves getting into trouble with the quote unquote underworld gang. One of the band members got caught and the group bands together to rescue their bandmate. Now, okay, this episode to me is the most absurd and it's so funny, but in a good way. It's very high school, teen drama, classic anime kind of storytelling. Towards the end, there's music, and I just laughed my pants off at that part because it's very Japanese and it almost feels like it wasn't Star Wars at that point. I honestly have mixed opinions about this one, to be honest. The art style is more friendly, it's bright, cute almost. I like how some Star Wars characters are drawn in this style. Overall, it's interesting. I like it. Yeah. The Twins by Trigger. The Twins is about a pair of twins. Wow. So the twins are part of the Empire. They have big plans coming up to create a massive super weapon. And one of the twins decided to bail out and escape. Things doesn't go well for them and there's disagreement and conflict happens. The animation for this plays a lot on contrasting colors, mainly red and blue. I like this art style. It's nice to look at. The fight scenes especially, it's very vibrant. I don't have much to say about this story because it's fairly short. I will say it's just sit back and enjoy the light show. Visually, it looks good. Yeah, it's just nice to look at. The Village Bride by Kinema Citrus. The Village Bride is mainly about a village struggling to survive with ongoing pressures by raiders and bandits. It's kind of similar with the first episode. I have to be honest, The Village Bride is my least favorite episode of the season, mainly because it's very slow paced. Nothing much actually happens in the story until towards the later half of the story. It does mention a lot about nature, so we get to see a lot of environment art. It's very nice to look at. It looks great. They're very colorful. It's set in a forest area, so it's very calming to see. Villagers' costumes are very colorful too. So yeah, still my least favorite, but interesting to see. The Ninth Jedi by Production IG. The Ninth Jedi is about a man named Margrave Juro who wants to restore the Jedi Order back to its former glory. Nine Force-sensitive people receive a transmission to meet at a temple and await to be given their newly forged lightsabers. This one gives you a look on how lightsabers are forged. I like how each lightsabers react differently to its wielder, so someone might hold it and have it turn green, or some blue. Some are longer and some create more energy. I don't think that actual Star Wars canon describes that to be true, but it looks good anyway. By the way, I don't think Star Wars Visions is at all canon. Visually, this episode is less outstanding. It doesn't really push the bar in terms of animation, but it's worth watching for the story. Toby by Science Seru. Toby is a story about a young robot designed to look like a boy. Newly built Toby have dreams of discovering the vastness of the galaxy and going on amazing adventures. Basically, it's the Star Wars version of Pinocchio. The animation reminds me a lot of Astro Boy 2. The color palette is great, lots of plays on bright and white tones. The background is sort of done in a watercolor style which overall complements the story of the young robot boy with big dreams. This episode is probably the mildest one, aside from the other episode, Tatooine Rhapsody, the one with the anime rock band group Elder by Trigger. This story is about a Jedi Master Tajin Crosser and his Padawan Dan Givash patrolling the Outer Rims. They find themselves on a planet with a disturbing feeling that something sinister lurks there. Things get really intense after that. I don't want to spoil the story, but there's a lot of action. The Elder is quite muted in terms of colors. It's pretty wet and bland. Everything looks dull, but on purpose. Don't get me wrong, it does look good. This episode kind of did what the first episode did, which made lightsabers the highlight of the show. The fight scenes are very Japanese. It's very traditional samurai kind of fighting style, in contrast of the medieval sword swinging fighting style of the movies. So yeah, another great episode. I really like it. Lope and Ocho by Geno Studios. Lope and Ocho takes place on a planet that have just been controlled by the Empire. A rabbit girl, Ocho, escapes her capture and meets a rich family that runs business in that city. The father and daughter, Lope, was kind enough to embrace Ocho and accepted her as part of the family. 7 years later, relations between the family gets tense due to disagreements on how they should run the business. Should they work with the Empire, or fight them, or join forces with them? So there's a lot of sibling rivalry too, just like in the episode with the twins. Lope and Ocho is my favorite episode of the season. Everything looks good. I love the environment. It's very bright and colorful. I like the costume designs too. Although having a rabbit girl as a main character is kind of weird, but I have got to accept it as I continue watching. Akkokiri by Science Seru. Akkokiri is about a Jedi who is on a mission to restore a kingdom that has been taken over by a Sith Lord. It reminds me of the kind of story that is about a group of misfits that is going on a suicide mission. A lot of travels, avoiding detection, and talks about how dangerous the mission is. I like how the characters are drawn here. They look unique, especially their faces. They have a curve on their face, which is quite different from the other episodes. I can't say much about the story, but this is one that is close to what the stories would be. We get to see something like that on Mandalorian too, if you guys have seen it. Overall, Star Wars Visions is a fresh new take on Star Wars. It's nice to see a different animation style that could happen for Star Wars. The stories are hit and miss for me. Some were interesting and some were alright to say the least. I would recommend this to just fans of Star Wars and people who like animation. The 9 episode per season is just right for me. I like this kind of format. There's so many things to watch nowadays, so something short like this is not a huge commitment for people. It's just right. So, what do you guys think? Have you seen it? Do you like it? Are you excited to watch it? Do let me know if you like this review. I hope I can do more in the future, and I'll see you guys real soon. Thanks!